What is up, everybody? I wanted to share with you a new build that I've been working on, and it's a ton of fun. It's one of my favorite builds to play. It makes me laugh, and it's definitely enjoyable. It might not be the greatest, but it can be really, really annoying to face this in PvP, although there is some counters to it, and I'll go over that. And it's actually fun in PvE as well. I've got a couple different variations of this. 2 different submachine guns, and 1 assault rifle. I'm going to go over all of them. First, I'm going to go with the Vector Fast Hands Extended Mag version with the Perfect Clutch gloves. That's this version right here. So the basis of this build is 3 pieces of negotiators. You get, 30% explosive resistance. You need to be wearing the demolitionist specialization, which fortunately gives you immunity to 1 explosion as well, and gives you some bonus damage to explosions, which help with your merciless as your secondary. But the basis of this is the blowback. 3 pieces of this. You launch a grenade at the target that depleted your armor. It can occur once every 3 seconds. And as far as I've tested, there is no range cap on this. However, the further away they are, the longer it takes for the grenade to get there, so they have a much easier chance of dodging it. But I've done some Hail Marys, and it's hilarious when they kill somebody. Basically, you pair that up with clutch. I use this in PvE, the perfect clutch, in PvP, and it worked really good. It's kind of like the old clutch. It gives you 2% of your armor back and 25% of your health every crit. You need to have 4 or less blues, so it's really important that you stack super high health with your 4 blues. I have 206,000 with only 4 blues, and that's pretty good, I must say. This isn't the greatest roll. It gave me 3 crit chance, which is at least something, and I rolled 11 SMG on it. I can put higher, but that's what I put on there for now. Your other option would be Alps gloves with clutch, and they give you the red mod slot, so that'll give you more damage. I still can't decide what I like better. I like the Alps gloves because they give you more damage, but I did notice in PvP that this does help. However, so does more damage. And in PvE, this also helped as well. I was running these perfect clutch gloves doing heroics in a group, and I was able to just face tank. And because I was running fast hands on my Vector, my reload speed was, under a second. Let me just show you how fast the Vector reloads with fast hands. It's insane. And it's got 65 rounds or something crazy. 64 rounds when it's reloaded from non-empty. Well, just check this reload speed out. It's about a half a second, honestly. It's insane. The downside of clutch is, when the stuff can kill you because you're reloading. You're not healing. But if you're a really good aim, it's going to be really, 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 really hard for you to die. Now, a lot of people don't like the perfect clutch because it gives you 2% of your missing armor, which means when you pair it with your berserk on your chest, you're going to be losing that damage a lot faster, and it is true. But at the same time, you might stay alive longer, and in PvP, you need that mixture of doing damage and staying alive. So just watch how fast my armor generates when you're using perfect clutch with this Vector. I'm getting half of my armor back in 1 magazine. That time I didn't crit very many times, so it's pretty amazing. Oh, they changed the armor as well. That's why I got half back. It's also 2% of your remaining. See how it slows down? The health is like that as well. So you'll see when my armor is low. Oop, that was almost death. Fortunately, I can, survive 1 explosion, but since I damaged myself, my grenade launched at that wall, and it didn't like that. But so when you first start critting, you're going to get 2%. It's 2% of your remaining armor and remaining health. So it starts out really, really fast, and then it really slows down. And you'll notice it at the end of it really slowing down. So keep that in mind. It's up to you to decide whether you want the perfect clutch or not. But, so yeah, negotiators, 3-piece. Doesn't really matter that much. You've got 8 crit chance, you want that, and damage to elites. So just look for negotiators that has crit chance. Like, that's what I recommend on your mask. Holster, mine rolled health, so you want to look for a high health roll if you're putting health on your holster. This has 23,000 health, and I rolled it to 15 crit chance. I can put 16 on this. This also has high armor, so unfortunately, armor affects the attributes, like how much you can recalibrate. So the lower armor, the more health and crit chance you'll be able to get. So preferably, I could find like maybe a 28,000, 30,000 health negotiators holster and be able to add the crit chance there. That'd be really cool. It's got a useless defensive mod slot because I can't put another blue or my clutch won't work, and a utility mod slot that I put for my Seeker skill power. I'll get over that when I'll cover that when I get to my skills, but you could also put explosives damage here if you're not running a Seeker. I run the Seeker with a mod that reduces its cooldown, so I need a little bit of skill power. Now, the last piece of negotiators is the knee pads for me, and these are just as high health as possible. I haven't even re-rolled these. These dropped with almost 24,000 health, and that's pretty damn good. So with those pieces there, as your negotiators, you're pretty good. You're pretty good to go. I don't think negotiators would really work very good in your backpack or chest slot. Definitely not your gloves, because you need that clutch. As far as chests go, I went with this pair. This is not, the best. I would rather have a Stridsvast. So I have the red mod slot, but I didn't have one. I do have one, but it's, where is it? It's lower weapon damage, and I didn't need the crit. So I've got this one here. No, that's not it. We've got this one here with 50,000 health, 5.5 weapon damage, and crit chance. Oh, I know why I didn't use this one. This one has hard hitting, and I didn't need hard hitting here. I needed vital because of my backpack. You want with this build a vital roll and a hard hitting roll. So you can look for vital or hard hitting on your chest, but it needs to pair up with your backpack. And since my backpack is really hard to find, and I got this one, this is how it is. 51,000 health. I believe the new cap is like 67,000 health. So I've already found a handful of chests with over 50,000. Found one yesterday with 55,000 health. And as you can see, the recal score is only 85. So that is pretty crazy. Like really, really crazy, actually. It's only 4 crit chance and 8 weapon damage. This chest sucks. There's so much room for improvement, and it doesn't have a red mod slot. So don't make fun of my chest. It was just something I crafted to kind of demonstrate this build. Backpack. Here, we've got... this is the wrong backpack. Hold on a second here. I crafted up a new backpack, I swear. Let me see. 1 second. I don't know what's going on here. FAMAS build. There it is. 511 with no blue. I am wearing the wrong backpack. I forgot to update this. There it is. Wait a minute. Okay, my shit's all messed up here. This is correct backpack for this build. This one here has vital, with no health on it. This one here has destructive with health on it. So this is actually the right backpack. I'm tripping. So this build doesn't actually have damage to elites on it. Now, here's the thing. I tested both, and damage to elites was better. Now, destructive really, really helps with that grenade that launches. It also helps with your your merciless proccing the explosions. But I've got 2 different versions. I'm showing you both here. And right now, I don't have the proper backpack that rolled red mod slot weapon damage, health, and crit chance. That's what you would want. This backpack kind of sucks, but destructive is the next best option other than damage to elites. What I could do is wear that other chest that I have that's, damage to elites, and then I could wear my vital version of this backpack, but then that version doesn't have health on it. It's got a yellow, so it's not as good for, trying to get over 200,000. Now, if this here had health on it, man, it would be amazing. And then gloves. Like I said, you can go 511 gloves with perfect clutch, or you can go Alps gloves with regular clutch and a mod slot. As far as my stats go, 60 crit. This is not a super high damage build, but it's got really good sustainability and survivability, and in PvP, it still shreds. This gun is insane burst damage. There's actually 2 versions. This one will give you those fast reloads. It's funner in PvE, and it's okay in PvP. 64 rounds with fast hands. But what I was using in PvP, and that I actually preferred, is the stubby vector, the tactical vector 9mm. Now, if you are a good aim and good at PvP, this is the best gun to use to kill people fast. It doesn't have a very big magazine. Obviously here, 40 rounds when you reload with one in the chamber there. But you put Allegro on this bad boy, because the problem is with extra, it just doesn't give you enough bullets. It gives you just a few. It's not worth extra on this one. So if you have a stubby vector, you want to run strained, because the magazine size is too small to really benefit from fast hands. Strained and Allegro. This is what I recommend for PvPing, as long as you can aim good. This gun has absolute insanity damage output. If you're down in your berserk and you've got strained and you've got your crit chance with this rate of fire, just listen to this gun. It's scary. It's absolutely scary. The downside is you don't have fast hands anymore, so keep that in mind. It can be, ooh, ow. It can be very, very risky when you have to reload, because this thing dumps fast. But if you got the damage and the aim and the drop on someone, you can just, unload into their head, and it's going to really mess them up. Another thing that's really important is demolitionist spec with this build. Not only for the explosives damage, but in PvP, I think demo is the best, unless you're a high armor build. One of the main reasons is crisis response. When your armor is reduced to 0, it refills all main weapon ammo. There is an internal cooldown on this, so you can't proc it infinitely anymore, but it's amazing. So it will refill your magazine automatically, and you get a bunch more damage output without having to reload. So I think I covered my submachine gun version of this. It's a lot of fun, and it's not perfect, but give it a try, and you'll probably love it. When someone breaks your armor, it blows them up. It's amazing. As far as skills go, in the dark zone, I actually was really liking the big seeker mine. This one, not the splitter. Because this one does a decent chunk of damage, 113,000 in PvP, without any mods in it. Like, I don't even have any mods, I don't think, for damage in this. Just skill haste. I have enough to get it down to a 30-second cooldown. Enough skill haste here. 92% skill haste, which is not too bad. A 30-second cooldown isn't horrible. And you can open up your fight with that. It will do a nice chunk of their damage. It will bleed them as well. So that's really nice. And then you can start shooting at them. If they break your armor, you launch a grenade at them. And not only does the grenade hit for like 300 and something thousand in PvP, it will stagger them, like dramatically stagger them and bleed them. And then you can just finish them off in the stagger. It's absolutely insane. The only way they're going to kill you is if they have a friend that is there to kill you back. So basically, if they proc that grenade, it's going to hit them, stagger them, and if you can't kill them then, then you're doing something wrong. The only way I could see them surviving through it is if you had to reload at that same time and you had to reload through your entire, stagger animation. And that's one of the reasons fast hands is still considerable. But if you're in PvP and they're moving a lot, you might not be able to land enough crits to really benefit from fast hands. And I think strained is a better PvP talent. So I think I covered my submachine gun version of this. Oh, some people are probably wondering what mods. I went crit chance on the scope, crit chance on the muzzle, crit chance on the laser pointer. You don't need damage to elites in PvP. That way, you can get away with a lot less crit chance on your gear. I don't even have any on my backpack. This backpack sucks. Do not try to copy this backpack. It's not very good. And that's the other reason I don't have damage to elites, because this was PvP. I forgot. Damage to elites doesn't help in PvP. Sure, it helps for landmarks and stuff, but they're still pretty easy, so it's not that big of a deal. So destructive helps for the PvP. Another thing that I'm going to do is the counter to this in PvP is, what's it called? Hazard protection. You can get this mask called the Hollowed Man, and it gives you 50% hazard protection. The one-piece bonus is 10%, so you're already up to 60. And mine rolled with hazard protection. So this has 93 hazard protection on it. If you have 100, you're not immune, but it doesn't do much damage, and it reduces... You're basically immune to fire and bleed and stuff, but it reduces the explosion damage by a ton. And I'm talking a ton. I ran into a guy who was running it, and he didn't really take much damage from my explosion, so it kind of sucked. So I recommend, if you're doing a pure PvP version of this build, to at least roll 50 hazard protection on your mask instead of damage to elites. So you'd have crit chance and hazard protection. I found one yesterday with 50-something hazard protection on the mask. So I think that's what I'm going to roll onto it for my, strictly PvP version. Where is it? I know I got one. There it is. 51% hazard protection. And that should be enough. 50 hazard protection should be enough in PvP. You could also wear that mask. But if you wear that mask, you're going to have to give up your backpack would be probably what you give up, or your chest. But I would recommend backpack. If you want to wear that mask and become, almost immune to it, get a backpack, negotiators, and then you're going to lose the spark. But it's not that bad. The negotiator backpacks aren't the worst, and they do roll a passive talent now. But they don't have a red mod slot, and the one I have sucks really bad. But you can get a good passive talent on it. That is an option. Now, let's go to the assault rifle version. Here is my assault rifle version. When I was running this and, just trying to get a feel for it and get some experience using it, I noticed that it's really only effective really close up. The vector is not good trying to land shots from any sort of distance. And the downside about that is you can kill yourself with these grenades. If you're too close, you hit yourself with the grenade as well. Sure, you're immune to one every minute, but a lot of times this thing is proccing every few seconds. It's insane how fast this thing can start shooting out. And the better your aim with the clutch, the better it is, because you stay alive and keep popping them. So I decided to try to make it work with the FAMAS. Once I did that, I realized I don't have enough crit chance. So what I did was I added, crit chance to the scope, crit chance to the laser. Unfortunately, we don't have a crit chance muzzle. If it was for PvP, I would recommend either going accuracy or stability. I don't even know if we get a crit damage muzzle. We might, and I just haven't crafted it. Obviously, extended magazine. And then you need to make up for crit chance in the build. My version with the FAMAS is less health. With the Vector, I'm sitting at, 206,000 health. This one has 163,000. So I lost 40,000 health on this build. But there's room to make more. As far as stats go, we're sitting at 59.5 crit chance. The crit damage is low at only 25. Headshot damage, 55. The Damage to elites is 79. This is what I was using in PvE, because I found myself doing heroics with the build and just being Rambo and trying to face tank everything. And it was fun. You could survive, but the moment you didn't survive or got caught with a reload or blew yourself up or something, you were dead. And it's hard to deal damage to the NPCs with submachine guns without being right up close to them, because a lot of times they're popping out of cover and shit. So I decided to try to make it work with this. And basically it's the same build. And I changed my chest back to this one. Higher crit chance. We got hard hitting on there. Another like 50,000 health roll. Smaller weapon damage. And then I crafted this backpack. And this backpack rolled really good. Unfortunately, it just didn't have a blue. But it's not the end of the world. It rolled Spark, Vital, Red Mod slot, some weapon damage. I rolled it to 14 crit chance. And it worked out perfect. I had to supplement my blue, though. Since we got it on the knee pads and the holster, we're missing a blue. So here's the options. If it's PvP that you want to do, you roll hazard protection. Or health on your mask. I recommend hazard protection. Or you throw a blue mod in a slot. I threw this in there. It's 8,000 health, some armor, and some armor percent. Unfortunately, I found a really good mod, and I guess I didn't pick it up or I trashed it. It was health and health percent. Those drop now. So if you're looking for a mod to make up for a health roll that you don't have on your gear, you can find health percent mods now, and that's really cool. So keep that in mind. You know, preferably you could get like 40,000 health on your backpack or something crazy, but you know, or 20,000 with really good stats. But I like this build. This build actually felt better, even though, you know, it didn't have the perfect clutch. A lot of times when I was running those heroics, the perfect clutch was too much heals. I was healing so fast that the enemies couldn't actually damage me. Until they damaged me. And then it was so much damage that I couldn't actually survive because there's so many sniper dogs and explosions. And if you're getting harassed by multiple explosions from grenade launcher spams, from those drones flying at you, blowing up, and sniper dogs, you're not going to be able to out-clutch that. But if it's just enemies shooting at you, as long as you've got aim and landing your shots, I was able to just like out-heal it. And my armor was just skyrocketing up, and they weren't ever breaking it. So I kind of felt like the perfect clutch was too much. And I really liked the Alps gloves instead. Other than that, it's pretty much the same. You know, obviously a Merciless for that bottom talent. It's really important if you guys didn't know. While holstered, you land a shot, it's 5% damage, or 5% chance to deal 100% damage, and this double dips. It's way more than the same damage. It's like a lot more. It takes the damage that you shot for, so it depends. If it's a body shot, it scales it off of that. If it's a headshot, it scales it off of that. If it's a crit headshot, it also scales it off of that, which is really cool. And then it double dips your attributes. So if you have explosives damage and damage to elites, it's actually double dipping and doing even more damage with that. And when that happens, the explosion happens, it procs Spark, which is 15% weapon damage for 15 seconds. It's great. Let me just demonstrate how much damage it actually does. It adds a lot. It adds a lot. So it's not just to proc Spark. It actually does a very decent amount of damage. Let's do some headshots here. So I'm critting 63 on this, which is not very much. But this isn't a super high damage build. So let's just watch when it explodes here. 55 non-crit. Boom, 148. That's crazy. That is a lot of explosive damage there. And it also procs off of Spark. Boom, 162 now. The higher the damage of your gun, 162 again, the higher it's going to hit for. So if you're using a real high damage rifle or something, it is really crazy. Or if you're using, say, an SVD or anything like that, and you proc that, it's an unbelievable amount of extra damage. It's pretty much like double the damage. So some people might think 100% meaning it's 100% more than what you dealt, but really what's happening is it's double dipping into the modifiers. So it takes your damage, and then it's applying all your modifiers onto it again, which is really cool. I like it, and I hope you guys do too. So I kind of rambled on about this video. It's all over the place because it's kind of multiple builds all in one, but I wanted to share with you what I experienced. I actually recorded this build yesterday, but then I played with the build all day and I changed up some stuff. I didn't want to release the video without playing the build properly, and I definitely don't regret that because I learned what worked, what didn't work, the differences in how the guns were, and yeah, you can't craft the Shorty 9mm or the Vector SBR 9mm. Tactical Vector or the 9mm. You can't craft either of these, which kind of sucks. You can only craft the 45, and it's the worst of them. It does a little bit more damage than the 9mm with a stock, but its magazine is not as big. And then the Tactical Vector has a way higher base damage with a smaller magazine. But as far as damage outputs goes, if you look at the DPS charts, there's nothing that competes with this stubby Vector. It is the highest burst damage in the game. It shits on everything else as far as burst damage. It's out of control how fast you can deal damage with this. But it's short-lived because you spend half the time reloading, potentially more than half the time reloading. So keep that in mind. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I know I enjoyed this build, and it's really funny killing people in the Dark Zone with it. I know people are going to be like, can you at least show it in action? Sure, I guess I will really quickly. Let's just go here real quick. I'll demonstrate it here. I'm not going to go to the Dark Zone because sometimes it takes a really long time to find people there, and I don't want to get owned and be embarrassed or something by a group. But let's put this on challenging real quick. Run in here and just let them shoot us, and I'll show you how it launches this missile.
Whatever's happening over there, we need to shut it down.
What's up, dude? Can you shoot me? And there it goes. Hail Mary! Oh, but it actually hit the wall instead of him. And I died. Embarrassing! Oh. Now, I wasn't actually trying to, kill things and survive. I just wanted to demonstrate how it works. That is a downside, is if they're behind cover, sometimes it won't actually hit them. Come on. Shoot me, buddy. Splat. 213. He's not an elite, so it's not nearly as much damage to him. Keep that in mind. But it's awesome. I really, really enjoy it myself. And just a sliver of health, and there it goes. Let's do another. We got a sliver. There it goes again. I just blew myself up. You gotta be careful, though. I mean, this isn't the greatest demonstration, but it at least shows you how it works. Normally, you wouldn't be just standing there. It would naturally happen. I was just kind of standing there. And you gotta be careful. But it's awesome. Trust me. Don't let that, me dying like that, sway you away. It was more just for the demonstration of how that thing launches out. And it's a ton of fun. Give it a try. Even if you don't plan on using it, it's still a fun trolley build to meme around with, and I really enjoy it. And hopefully you guys do too. Thank you all so much for watching. I've got another few build videos that I put out, some really good ones that are better for all around. I've got a great assault rifle build video with the FAMAS that's not using negotiators. I've got an insane one-shot sniper build. I've hit for about 18 million damage, self-buffed. It's insane, so check that out if you like sniping. And more builds to come. I've got a bunch that I'm working on. I don't want to put too many out all at once, so you're going to get 2 today. And hopefully you guys enjoy. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Hit that like button. Hit the little bell if you want alerts when I upload new videos. You can also watch me live, Twitch TV/Inigo Montoya. Don't forget to comment below what you found to work better, what you think doesn't work good on this build, why I suck and died trying to demonstrate it, why I would ever use this, whatever. You can talk shit. I'll probably talk shit back. But you guys are awesome. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you around.